So about 6 months ago, I made a video here on the channel about PumpkinMC, a brand new Minecraft server software fully written in Rust. Meaning it's not a vanilla Java Minecraft server software that has been patched, like for example PaperMC, but it was fully built up from scratch in Rust, an immensely optimized program language, which requires very little power to actually run. Now, even though PumpkinMC was still in beta, we did have a look at it about half a year ago, and it's safe to say that back then, the software was still kinda broken. All of the mobs were just mannequins, chunks would suddenly disappear, my cape did not work whatsoever, it was still very rough. But 6 months has passed since then, and you guys, my beautiful subscribers, keep telling me over and over again that PumpkinMC has completely changed ever since, and is now a lot more stable, a lot less broken, and it's actually getting close to being a functional Minecraft server. So today I want to revisit PumpkinMC, and I want to see what has changed in these past 6 months, and if I could actually recommend this server software to use on a casual basis. But before we do that, do make sure to double check if you're actually subscribed to the channel. Literally 79% of people watching my videos are not a sub, so make sure to double check if you are subscribed. I would appreciate it so extremely much. So, I've been following the development of PumpkinMC to a certain extent. I first learned about this server software when it didn't even have a simple download available. You could only use it if you had a dedicated machine running something like Docker. I made my first video when the first public download released, but now 6 months after you can see that their website has had a complete overhaul. It looks way more professional and much better in general. They still claim themselves to be the world's fastest Minecraft server, and it probably is. It boots up 1,000 times faster than a vanilla Minecraft server and uses 18 times less RAM. And these claims are actually true. We were even able to test this in the last video. But the server does literally boot up in 5 milliseconds. It only uses about 100 megabytes of memory. And the idle CPU usage is just out of this world. They have some comparisons here and they speak for themselves. PumpkinMC is immensely efficient. But that efficiency, of course, comes at a cost. Especially in the plugin department. Because most people run a Minecraft server like Paper because they want to run Minecraft plugins. The thing with Pumpkin though is that it is fully written in Rust, not in Java. And because of that, by default, it does not support Paper or Bukkit plugins whatsoever. Instead, Pumpkin has its very own Pumpkin API, which plugins can be made for, but I've personally never stumbled upon a Pumpkin plugin, and it's gonna take a lot for the community to fully shift towards making plugins specifically for the PumpkinMC server. Luckily though, the developers have thought of this, and they've actually made something called PatchBukkit, which is a way to add Bukkit and Paper plugin compatibility to a PumpkinMC server. It basically is a PumpkinMC plugin that adds support for the Paper, Spigot, and Bukkit API. So that is definitely something we're gonna test out today. Downloading Pumpkin is of course as simple as ever. Simply scroll to the bottom of the page and click on download now. Then you want to choose your version. In my case, I'm gonna go for Windows. And after that you want to execute the exe file that it downloads and don't blink. Yeah. There it is. It's booted as quickly as I remember. So inside of Minecraft, we can now add a server and then we can just type in a local host. We press on done and there it is. The PumpkinMC server ready for us to join. Now I do immediately want to point out the obvious downside of this. That exe we just downloaded that can run on my Windows system, you can't just drag that into any Minecraft server host you have available and expect it to run just fine. As most Minecraft server hosting companies only allow you to run jars, and PumpkinMC is not written in Java, meaning it's not gonna be a jar, the host would have to go out of its way to add compatibility for PumpkinMC to their panel. So on most hosts it will not work, but if you just want to run it on your own system, that will of course work just fine. So let's just go ahead and join, and there we go, we're in the server. Let me set myself to creative, and would you look at that? PumpkinMC. Now the first thing that I'm noticing immediately is that my cape works works perfectly. This cape did in fact not work the previous time we tried out PumpkinMC. For whatever reason, it would not show up, but now it does. A little cosmetic improvement, but still very nice to see. Now, what was also very impressive about PumpkinMC is that the world would instantly load. Meaning, even if you would quickly fly around in undiscovered chunks, PumpkinMC would load them in even before you got there. And it seems like that is still the case. I'm flying around here in creative and I cannot even see the chunks being generated. It seems like the terrain is just there, but it is actively generating in the background. It is using my PC's CPU for it, and my CPU is not even breaking a sweat. It is very efficient. I'm gonna try to fly around in spectator mode, you know, going a bit more quick. We can now actually see the chunks being generated, which is nice, but still, even if I'm going this incredibly fast, it has no problem at all keeping up with my generation needs. If it were paper, in a lot of cases, you would have flown in ungenerated terrain a long time ago. But PumpkinMC is keeping up just fine. The generation is immensely quick. And unlike last time, I'm not seeing broken chunks, at least not so far. Something I am seeing though is that at points the world generation is still kind of broken. This line, for example, pretty sure that's not supposed to be there. A random strip of sand. Last time we saw trees being completely cut off. This time around, I'm not seeing any of that. There were small world generation mistakes, like for example this tree floating in midair, but they're not that bad at all. Nothing compared to last time. In general, I think it looks really nice. This forest looks kind of funky. Are trees in this forest supposed to look like this? I don't even know anymore. I've seen so many custom generation plugins that I barely know what belongs in vanilla Minecraft and not. This tree doesn't really feel vanilla, but I might be wrong. But man, the generation performance of this server is great. And yes, it may not be on the same level as vanilla yet, but it's also definitely not as broken as it was last time around. It looks a lot better. And chunks are not disappearing, which is amazing. Something which I also like to see is that the day-night system seems to work perfectly. I don't remember if this worked last time around, but I'm glad to see it does now. It's not a given that this works though. On a limbo server, which I've covered on the channel before, a day-night system is not even a thing that exists. But here in PumpkinMC, fully built in Rust, it works. I'm gonna set the game rule to false though, and I'm gonna make a day, just so you guys are actually able to see something. But okay, next, let's have a look at the mobs. Because last time we tested PumpkinMC, essentially every single entity in the world was just a mannequin. They would not move, they would not have any entity AI, they were just still mannequins that would not do anything and not drop anything. So let's see if that has now changed. We here see a bunch of sheeps, all stuck together. It seems like one of these two blocks was their spawn position. I don't know what was invalid about the sheep. Sheep seemed fine to me. Pumpkin didn't like me trying this though. Let's attempt that again. They are looking around. Okay, now I'm able to hit them. For some reason, a bunch of them have just despawned. I'm pretty sure I saw around 4 just now. I'm able to hit the sheeps. I'm able to... Oh, okay, and they drop mutton. But they don't really seem to move on their own. Like he is staying dangerously still. Hello, Mr. Sheep. Can I push you? It doesn't look like I can. I can only hit him and he will drop XP and he will also drop mutton, but that doesn't look like he's moving on its own, which is rather interesting. When we go here to the water, we can see glow squids, but they're also sitting very still in place, not really moving. The encounter with the sheep just now does make me think that it will probably drop its loot when I kill it. So let's give that a shot. Okay, it did. There we go. So it does drop its loot. Hello? Will you do something? What if I go to survival? Hello? Okay, he will damage me, but he is unable to move. Now, to be fair, when we go to the GitHub of PumpkinMC, you can see what they're still working on to implement. And one of the main things that they're still working on is entities. So non-living entities are work in progress, mobs are work in progress, animals are work in progress, and last time villagers and bosses did not exist at all. They were not even checked. Now they are checked. but they're still work in progress. So yes, they are there, but they don't fully work yet. But a lot of the other stuff like tab list, scoreboard, the world loading, world time, world borders, all of that seems to be there, and it doesn't seem to be work in progress still. So in theory, that would mean if I do /tp Kasasura 0 120 0, there we go. We're now at 0 0, and then we do world border set 50. Should appear. I don't see a world border. Interesting. We can do world border center, and then exactly where I'm at. There we go. It's now centered. And then we can set the world border to maybe 10 in a single... Oh, there it is. Okay. Yes, sir. We do have a world border. I can just go outside of the world border, though. The world border is not really a border. It's just a fancy, moving, transparent wall. But I can perfectly fine just go outside of the world border, like you're able to see. You should, by default, not be able to do this in creative. The world border at least works, which is really nice. Also, look at this. Look at the command. Growing the world border to 1,000 blocks wide over 1 second. This speed is not 1 second. It will take a lot of seconds for this world border to hit 1,000. So that command seems kinda glitchy, but at least the world border is there, so that's interesting. Now, something I do want to test out, of course, is can we go to other dimensions? So let's make a little nether portal and let's see if we can actually go to the nether. The portal somewhat turns on. Okay, well, on it is. Let's see if we can actually go. We can! Would you look at that? We're in the nether now. And the nether works just fine. Of course, entities will not be moving, just like in the overworld. He's just stuck in place. But the dimension itself is here, which does look awesome. Endermen do be looking around, just like they would be in vanilla Minecraft. Can I anger the Enderman? Oh, yes. Oh, yes, I can. He is angry. I don't know where he is now, though. Probably stuck somewhere. He can teleport, but he can't move. So even if he would teleport close to me, he can't do that much. The spawner doesn't really seem to work either. And there is a guest over there who I think is having a rather hard time. Hello, Mr. Guest. You good, bro? Oh, nope. Okay. So yes, entities kinda glitchy. Other than that, world seems to work perfectly. Except that I don't see any trees. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there should be trees here. They're not growing. So the nether world generation likely also still is a work in progress. But cool to see that we can even travel here in the first place. Alright, I just did /kill Kasasura to hopefully get back to the overworld. Instead, I was suddenly teleported to the roof of the nether, where we see a bunch of zombies and clutches together. Hello. How you guys doing? Well, let's just go and travel back to the overworld. Okay, I just spawned back in the overworld, but for whatever reason, I didn't come out of a nether portal. It did not spawn a nether portal. I'm just back in the overworld now. That is where I respawned. I'm just here. I don't know why. No nether portal was generated. One more thing I want to test is, of course, can we travel to the end? Very important information. I don't think the fight will work. I do think we can go there. Wait, I right-clicked. No. Oh, wait. We can. There we go. We're in the end. Not a single Enderman is moving. The Ender Dragon is moving, though. Hello. You're moving, mate. You're flying in circles. Oh. I'm sorry. I didn't want to hurt your feelings like that. Also, now that I've relocked, he seems to have despawned. His boss bar is there, but he is not. Also, this looks funky. The base is here, but there's a lot of work that still needs to be done. That much is clear. Let's see if there is anything inside of the end. Oh, there we go. Okay, the rest of the end is generating, so at least that works. That's pretty cool. Okay, what is happening? I don't even know what's happening. Am I damaging the Ender Dragon? What is going on? I set myself to game mode spectator, and I don't know what's happening now. Am I defeating it? I am. Okay, I defeated the Ender Dragon in game mode spectator. Yeah, because why not? You know, why not? Alright, back in the overworld. Let's go and have a look if we can actually get some Minecraft plugins working. Because like mentioned earlier in this video, by default, PumpkinMC does not support the PaperBukkit or Spigot API. Only their very own Pumpkin API. But they have something called Bukkit Patch, which is a plugin for PumpkinMC that adds support for Bukkit, Paper and Spigot plugins. So, let's have a look if they actually work. Here back on the PumpkinMC website, I'm gonna click on PatchBukkit. Let's click on Releases. Let's click on Assets. And I guess in my case, I should just go for the x64 version. So let's give it a shot. Then I'm gonna stop my PumpkinMC server. I'm gonna head to the plugins folder and I'm gonna drag in PatchBukkit. There we go. That should do the trick. We're gonna double click the exe again and it seems to close immediately. The logs are not telling me a whole lot. Actually, they're telling me nothing. There is a PatchBukkit folder though, so that seems to work. And here is a PatchBukkit plugins folder, which is likely the folder where we have to add all the plugins to that we want to install. So all the Bukkit, Spigot and Paper plugins. But right now, my server seems to not boot whatsoever. It does say that the requirement for this to work is installing Java 25, which is installed for me. Like you can see, there it is, Java 25. I'm not sure if it doesn't work because the PatchBukkit plugin is broken in some way, or because it doesn't recognize my version of Java. That could also be the case. Unfortunately, the logs give me no information whatsoever. Now something else which I do want to test quickly is support for Minecraft Bedrock Edition. Last time I wasn't even able to join. Let's see if that's different this time around. And it certainly seems like it is. I'm able to join the server just fine. But things do start falling apart quickly after that. For whatever reason, the vibrant visuals inside of the server look very, very strange. This is definitely not what vibrant visuals is supposed to look like. Also, when I try to break a block, there's not actually a breaking animation. Instead, it just disappears after a while. And picking up a block is not that smooth either. I can literally walk right through them and they don't go into my inventory. Something which also happens is that sometimes I just run into an invisible wall and I'm unable to continue for no apparent reason. And of course, the entity issue is still here, just like on Java Edition. Oh. Well, seems like I'm floating. Okay, no, we're falling down again. I have absolutely no clue how that happened. Can I replicate this? Let's try once more. Okay, so if you're swimming and you then leave the water while swimming, you will just suddenly start floating. I promise you, I'm not pressing spacebar right now. You can even see that I'm in survival. So I think it's safe to say that Bedrock Edition support is still in a very early stage. And while I'm at least able to join now compared to last time, it is absolutely not playable in any way. But I do love the intent and I think it could be something great. So what is the conclusion of today's video? Well, PumpkinMC has definitely made a lot of progress. The world generates so much better than before. It is still very quick and snappy, all the dimensions work, the day-night cycle works, but mostly when it comes to entities, a lot of stuff is still broken. Which is why it is very hard to recommend as a server to just casually play on right now. Mostly because of the entities, because entities are really important inside of Minecraft. They are probably also one of the hardest parts to pull off when it comes to building your own Minecraft server software from scratch. So it's understandable they don't fully work yet, but because of that, actually using it to play on is rather hard. If mobs can't move, if you can't be attacked by entities, and if this happens when you try to beat the Ender Dragon, it's not fully useful yet. But after seeing everything that has changed since the last time I checked out PumpkinMC, it does make me immensely excited for the future, and I'm really curious to see what this server software will be like in another 6 months. So if you want to check it out for yourself, links can of course be found in the description down below. And with that being said, that is gonna be it for today. Do make sure to sub to the channel, join my Discord. Thank you so much, channel members, and then I will see you in the next one. Bye bye, see you later, bye bye!